A threat analysis methodology for cloud using CCM 4.1 Learning Objectives, 232 4.2 Overview, 232 4.3 Threat Analysis Essentials. 232 4.4 Top Threat Analysis Methodology, Part 1, 234 4.5 Top Threat Analysis Methodology, Part 2, 241 4.6 Top Threats. Analysis Method Use Case, 244 4.7 Chapter 4 Knowledge Check, 249 Certificate of Cloud Auditing Knowledge Study Guide Copyright 2021 Cloud Security Alliance and ISACA. All rights reserved. 231 Chapter 4, A Threat Analysis Methodology for Cloud using CCM. Image with the following description, image for page with label 231. A threat analysis methodology for cloud using CCM 4.1 Learning Objectives. After completing this chapter, learners will be able to describe threat analysis essentials. 1. Use the top threat analysis methodology to analyze attack details. 2. Document attack impacts based on the top threat analysis methodology. 3. Apply threat analysis methodology for cloud using CCM. 4. Evaluate a top threats method use case. 5. 4.2 Overview. This chapter focuses on post-incident analysis with the aim of educating external auditors and cloud customers, internal auditors, risk managers, or other functions, on how to assemble, identify, and classify the essential components of an incident. The goal is to enable them to perform a meaningful and comprehensive analysis to accomplish the following: determine the governance and compliance program failures, example weaknesses, gaps in the control design or implementation phases. Determine the necessary mitigations, what the organization could have done better, and what can be done to mitigate the issues. Understand how to interpret past incidents and breaches as indicators of possible future non-compliance. For the auditor, evaluating past events and the mitigation measures taken and not taken often provides valuable insight for recommending future controls. 4.3 Threat Analysis Essentials. The top threat analysis methodology created by the CSA Top Threats Working Group, WG, comprises a structured process to identify post-incident the who, what, why and how contributing factors, the effects of the cyber incident, and what can be done to prevent a similar event in the future. Post-incident analysis differs from threat analysis or risk analysis. See Chapter 1, Section January 4, 10 on Cloud Risk Management, in that the latter are normally anticipatory. The incident has not happened, and the goal is to anticipate the likelihood of the incident, how and why it might occur, the probability it could happen, its potential impacts, and what can be done to prevent it. 4.3.1 Definition and Purpose. The top threat analysis methodology can be defined as a 5-step, in-depth examination of an incident to determine the following: who, what, why, how and impacts of the incident. Step 1. Attack details, threat actors, threats, vulnerabilities, to determine the who, what, why and how the incident happened. Step 2. Technical impacts, confidentiality, integrity, and availability, to determine the actual effects on the system and data. 232 Certificate of Cloud Auditing Knowledge Study Guide Copyright 2021 Cloud Security Alliance and ISACA. All rights reserved. Chapter 4 A Threat Analysis Methodology for Cloud using CCM. Image with the following description, image for page with label 232. Step 3. Business impacts: financial, operational, compliance and reputational impacts, to determine the effects on profit, the ability to deliver goods and services, compliance with applicable laws, regulations, and industry standards, and any shift in brand value. What can be done to prevent an incident from happening in the future? Step 4. Controls: preventive, detective, corrective controls, to determine what can be done to prevent the incident from happening in the future, to detect if it is currently happening and if so, corrective controls that can be used to recover with minimal impact. Included here are implementation guidance, i.e., the considerations and approach, to determine how best to implement controls efficiently and effectively. Step 5. Metrics: key performance indicator attributes, i.e., what, how and when to measure, and control effectiveness measurements, i.e., how best to measure the performance of controls to ensure they are achieving their stated control objectives. 4.3.2 Tools. The top threat analysis methodology uses a variety of tools to analyze and mitigate an incident. Following are a few examples. CSA Tool: CSA Top Threats and Survey. This report provides organizations with an up-to-date, expert-informed understanding of cloud security concerns, so they can make educated risk management decisions regarding cloud adoption strategies. Point 2071 CSA Top Threats Deep Dive. This case study attempts to connect all the dots when it comes to security analysis by using anecdotes cited in the top threats for its foundation. Each anecdote is presented in the forms of a reference chart and a detailed narrative. The reference chart format provides a synopsis of the attack, from identifying the actor, threats, and vulnerabilities to applying end controls and mitigations. Point 2082 CSA Cloud Controls Matrix, CCM, v3.0.1. The CCM is the only meta-framework of cloud-specific security controls, mapped to leading standards, best practices, and regulations. It provides organizations with the required structure, detail, and clarity to guide decisions regarding information security tailored to cloud computing. CCM is used to define mitigating controls. Point 2093 Non-CSA Tools MITRE ATT and CK Registered. This is a globally accessible knowledge base of adversary tactics and techniques based on real-world observations that are updated continuously. The ATT and CK knowledge base is used as a foundation for developing specific threat models and methodologies in the private sector, in government, and in the cybersecurity product and service community. Point 2104 NIST Vulnerability Database, NVD, the U.S. government repository of standards-based vulnerability management data represented using the Security Content Automation Protocol, SCAP, which is updated continuously. These data enable automation of vulnerability management, security measurement, and compliance. The NVD includes databases of security checklist references, security-related software flaws, misconfigurations, product names, and impact metrics. Point 2115 U.S. National Cyber Awareness System. This system from the U.S. Department of Homeland Security provides alerts with timely information about current security issues, vulnerabilities, and exploits. Point 2126 1207 OPSIT Cloud Security Alliance, Top Threats to Cloud Computing 20208 IBID 3209 Cloud Security Alliance, Cloud Controls Matrix v3.0.1, 3. August 2019, https://cloud-security-alliance.org/artifacts/cloud-controls-matrix-v3-0-14210 The MITRE Corporation, MITRE ATT and CK, https://attack.mitre.org/5211 NIST, National Vulnerability Database, https://nvd.nist.gov/vuln6212 U.S. Cybersecurity and Infrastructure Security Agency, CISA, National Cyber Awareness System, Alerts, www.us-cert.gov/ncas/alerts 233 Certificate of Cloud Auditing Knowledge Study Guide Copyright 2021 Cloud Security Alliance and ISACA. All rights reserved. Chapter 4 Threat Analysis Methodology for Cloud using CCM. Image with the following description, image for page with label 233. Top Threat Analysis Methodology, Part 1. Part 1 of the Top Threat Analysis Methodology deals with attack details, threat actors, threats, and vulnerabilities, technical impacts, confidentiality, integrity, and availability. The business impacts are financial, operational, compliance, and reputational. 4.4.1 Attack details. This section is devoted to the attack and its details. Threat actors, the individuals or groups who lead or carry out the attack. Threats, events or actions that take advantage of vulnerabilities, defects in a process, system, application, or other asset, including users, that are exploited. Threat actors. A threat actor is the entity, person, group, or organization that accomplishes the threat. Threat actors can be categorized as external or internal, and as malicious or non-malicious. External threats that originate outside the organization. Malicious intentionally performs some action that damages the confidentiality, integrity, or availability of the system or data. Cybercriminals, technically proficient professionals using phishing, malware, ransomware, botnets, DDoS attacks and other techniques for profit, to steal data or disrupt a target's operations or service. Hacktivists, those with a social or political agenda who deface websites or launch DDoS or other attacks as a means to effect change. Non-malicious unintentionally performs, or fails to perform, some action that damages the confidentiality, integrity, or availability of the system or data. Application user who repeatedly submits requests without waiting for web application responses, or who unknowingly takes other steps that negatively affect system performance or data integrity. Internal threats that originate within the organization. Malicious intentionally performs some action that damages the confidentiality, integrity, or availability of the system or data. Disgruntled employees/insiders, employees, agents or subcontractors who use their access and knowledge to personally benefit or punish the company, may involve stealing data or money, or causing a deliberate service interruption. Non-malicious unintentionally performs, or fails to perform, some required action that damages the confidentiality, integrity, or availability of the system or data. Careless employees/insiders, employees, agents or subcontractors who despite proper instruction, continue to access internet sites recklessly, or otherwise fail to follow corporate security practices. Untrained employees/insiders, employees, agents, or subcontractors who have not received proper instruction regarding the handling of phishing, malware and ransomware emails, or other corporate security practices. 234 Certificate of Cloud Auditing Knowledge Study Guide Copyright 2021 Cloud Security Alliance and ISACA. All rights reserved. Chapter 4 Threat Analysis Methodology for Cloud using CCM. Image with the following description, image for page with label 234. Poor performing IT staff/insiders, technically incompetent employees or third parties who do not perform their duties properly. Example: misconfigure a database or server, leaving the system or data exposed. Threat event: threats are events or actions carried out by a threat actor that can lead to damage to an organization's operations, assets, employees, or reputation through unauthorized access, destruction, disclosure or modification of information, or denial of service. Examples of threats include the following: a cybercriminal group sends a spear phishing email to a careless IT developer, one who previously received security awareness training, with a link to a website containing RAR, self-extracting file, executables. The IT developer opens the file, leading to the exploit of a weakness in the operating system or database that allows a remote attacker to execute arbitrary code on the system with the victim's privileges. An IT architect is moving to a new company and, without malice, wants to take copies of work for which he has won an industry award. While at home, he downloads confidential architectural documents in accordance with his designated access rights and the need-to-know principle onto his personal laptop. A hacktivist organization discovered a polluting company's unprotected database installed by an untrained consultant, containing the locations of unreported contaminated water supply, which could be accessed without any authentication or access control via an open 27017 port. A recently fired developer sent a glowing farewell email that was opened by the CISO. The email carried a .wsf file containing detection evasion scripts combining multiple programming languages, allowing it to pass through emulation engines that rely on a single language. A state-sponsored group compromised Internet of Things, IoT, devices that used default credentials. The attackers used Mirai malware to infect IoT devices to create a botnet, which they then used to launch a DDoS attack on a domain name system, DNS, service provider. Vulnerabilities: a vulnerability is a deficiency in a process, system, application, IT asset, system security procedure or internal control that a threat actor can use to accomplish a threat. Vulnerabilities make the threat actor's goals achievable. They generally relate to missing, weak or misapplied security controls, but they also can result from the following: governance structures with missing or poor risk management, external relationships with poor processes that have not been risk managed, enterprise/information security architectures that are poorly designed. Cloud vulnerabilities can be divided into the following cloud classes. 2137 Misconfigurations: default passwords not disabled, insecure, weak, password policies. Implemented files and directories not access, restricted software, end of life, outdated/old versions. 7213 National Security Agency, Mitigating Cloud Vulnerabilities, January 22, 2020, https://media.defense.gov/2022/020037484/1/CSI-mitigating-cloud-vulnerabilities_20001221.pdf 235 Certificate of Cloud Auditing Knowledge Study Guide Copyright 2021 Cloud Security Alliance and ISACA. All rights reserved. Chapter 4 Threat Analysis Methodology for Cloud using CCM. Image with the following description, image for page. Unpatched software, unmitigated bugs, improper input/output data validation access multi-factor authorization, MFA, with strong factors not used regular re-authentication not required MFA password resets not used protocols using weak authentication enabled access between cloud resources not managed using zero trust/SDP managed authentication between virtual machines not used API keys stored in version control systems shared tenancy misunderstanding the intended use of the underlying isolation technology poor or no encryption of data at rest and in transit with weak encryption methods improperly configured, managed, and monitored key management systems dedicated, bare metal instances not used for sensitive workloads supply chain poor vendor, hardware, software, consulting, service, acquisition processes insufficient SLA requirements and protections lack of a process to monitor and enforce vendor relationships, example to perform an audit, inadequate. Encryption as data passes through the supply chain 4.4.2 Technical impacts. The top threat analysis methodology considers the technical impacts of an attack on a system and its data that compromise confidentiality, integrity, and availability. Figure 4.1 Unauthorized disclosure of information, altered information, and untimely and unreliable access to information. Figure 4.1 CIA Triad 1 Availability 2 Integrity 3 Confidentiality Information Security I-236 Certificate of Cloud Auditing Knowledge Study Guide Copyright 2021 Cloud Security Alliance and ISACA. All rights reserved. Chapter 4 Threat Analysis Methodology for Cloud using CCM. Image with the following description, image for page with label 236. Confidentiality ensures that information is protected from unauthorized access or disclosure. Example, an insider who has accepted a job at a competitor downloads new product information onto a laptop before taking the laptop home and downloading the information onto a home computer. The disclosure of technical information to a competitor for a new product might be considered severe. See the confidentiality impact table in figure 4.2 if it significantly reduced the company competitive advantage. An organization impact table is based on likelihood and impact determined when carrying out its risk management procedures. See section January 4, 10 on cloud risk management. Figure 4.2 shows a confidentiality impact table. Integrity ensures information is complete, accurate, and up-to-date and is not subject to unauthorized modification or destruction, and it ensures its non-repudiation and authenticity. This applies to data in storage, during processing and in transit. Example, an inexperienced IT consultant new to a boutique investment bank misconfigures one of the logical storage units granting unrestricted access and change rights. This storage unit contains proprietary financial formulas used by in-house bankers, corporate investment departments and high-net-worth individuals who perform their own analyses. A hacker discovers the unprotected storage unit and decides to delete the storage, causing a halt to the investment bank trading operations. This incident might be considered severe. See the integrity impact table, depending on the investment bank losses and those of its customers. The organization impact table is based on likelihood and impact determined when carrying out its risk management procedures. See section January 4, 10. Figure 4.3 shows an integrity impact table. Figure 4.2 Confidentiality impact table level definition. Low unauthorized disclosure of information results in limited damage to the organization operations, assets, and human resources. Medium unauthorized disclosure of information results in serious damage to the organization operations, assets, and human resources. High unauthorized disclosure of information results in severe or catastrophic damage to the organization operations, assets, and human resources. Figure 4.3 Integrity impact table level definition. Low unauthorized modification or destruction of information results in limited damage to the organization operations, assets, and human resources. Medium unauthorized modification or destruction of information results in serious damage to the organization operations, assets, and human resources. High unauthorized modification or destruction of information results in severe or catastrophic damage to the organization operations, assets, and human resources. 237 Certificate of Cloud Auditing Knowledge Study Guide Copyright 2021 Cloud Security Alliance and ISACA. All rights reserved. Chapter 4 Threat Analysis Methodology for Cloud using CCM. Image with the following description, image for page with label 237. Availability refers to ensuring that information, systems, facilities, networks, and computers are available to authorized individuals or groups when they need to access them. Example, a phishing campaign leading to a ransomware infection that prevents a bank from accessing 10,000 high-value customer accounts unless a ransom is paid might be considered severe. See the availability impact table in figure 4.4, depending on the length of unavailability and customers' losses, and the bank loss of customers. The organization impact table is based on likelihood and impact determined when carrying out its risk management procedures. See section January 4, 10. Figure 4.4 shows an availability impact table. 4.4.3 Business impacts. The ultimate impact of any incident that can affect the organization can be classified into 4 categories: financial, operational, compliance, and reputational. Financial impacts concern the direct increase in costs that result from an incident, including compensation revenue from partners and customers may be lost or additional costs incurred as a result of the organization's security incident. Technical investigations. Security incidents may generate significant investigatory costs due to the complexity of the environment where the investigation takes place and the need for expert resources to conduct the investigation. Ransomware amounts may have to be paid to an attacker to allow an enterprise to regain access to its system and/or data. System upgrades may be required for the affected system, software, or services, or new systems, software, or services may have to be purchased to improve the enterprise's overall security posture and reputation in the marketplace. Insurance premium increases. Security incidents may result in significant costs that may be covered under a cyber risk or other insurance policy. Insurance premiums can be expected to rise as a result, and it may be necessary to hire law firms or other third parties to manage the claims process. Litigation costs. It may be necessary to recover costs from perpetrators or to defend against supplier or customer lawsuits. Increased financing costs. A perceived or real incident can increase the interest rate the company pays for its financing, or result in creditors seeking to modify or terminate financing agreements. Figure 4.4 Availability Impact Table Level Definition. Low unavailability of a small set of information or an information system resulting in limited damage to the organization, operations, assets, or human resources. Medium restricted access to or use of information or an information system results in serious damage to the organization, operations, assets, or human resources. High restricted access to or use of information or an information system results in severe or catastrophic damage to the organization, operations, assets, or human resources. 238 Certificate of Cloud Auditing Knowledge Study Guide. Copyright 2021 Cloud Security Alliance and ISACA. All rights reserved. Chapter 4 Threat Analysis Methodology for Cloud Using CCM. Image with the following description. Image for page with label 238. Reduced investments. Additional costs incurred due to damages can reduce the expectations of existing and potential shareholders and investors, thus lowering the stock price and making raising debt or equity investment more difficult. Severance pay and other staff termination costs. An incident may require the affected company to terminate staff, which adds costs through severance packages and related benefits. Recruitment costs. Recruiting new, more capable staff can require significant higher costs. Operational impacts. Operational impacts concern disruptions to business processes, systems, and data. These impacts also result in financial impacts. Following are examples of such operational impacts. Reduced product/service sales. Security incidents can bring sales and marketing systems to a halt, resulting in a delay or inability to process customer orders or manage customer relationships. Production/service delays. Security incidents can bring public-facing production and service systems down. Production or service orders may not be processed. Bombs, bills of materials, may be corrupted. A security incident may not allow production according to specifications. Production/service planning files may be corrupted. Systems affected by a security incident may be unable to process the right products or provide services at the right time. Product/service quality systems can be brought down by security incidents, preventing necessary checks from taking place and negatively affecting customer orders or relationships. Product/service delivery. Logistics systems can be slowed or brought to a halt by security incidents. Additionally, products and services might be delivered to the wrong location at the wrong time. New product/service introduction delays. Security incidents can delay the launch of new products or services by interfering with the organization's ability to bring production or service supply chains online in time to satisfy the customer. Production/service reporting systems. A compromise caused by a security incident may not allow correct manufacturing, financial, human resource or other reporting, hampering decision making. Compliance impacts. Compliance impacts result from not acting in accordance with applicable laws and regulations. Following are examples of such impacts. EU GDPR. The General Data Protection Regulation, GDPR, 2148 is a legal framework that sets requirements for the collection and processing of the personal data of European Union citizens. Lack of compliance with the GDPR might impact an organization in several ways. Regulatory investigations and fines. Litigation against affected individuals. Litigation against other third parties. Need to hire attorneys and experts to defend against regulatory investigations and litigation costs to improve the legal and compliance function. 214 European Commission, Data Protection in the EU, https://ec.europa.eu/info/law/law-topic/data-protection/data-protection-eu and 239 Certificate of Cloud Auditing Knowledge Study Guide. Copyright 2021 Cloud Security Alliance and ISACA. All rights reserved. Chapter 4 Threat Analysis Methodology for Cloud Using CCM. Image with the following description. Image for page with label 239. The GDPR imposes fines of up to €10 million, or 2% of a firm's worldwide annual revenue from the preceding financial year, whichever amount is higher, for violating the articles governing controllers and processors, certification bodies, and monitoring bodies. Fines of up to €20 million, or 4% of the firm's worldwide annual revenue from the preceding financial year, whichever amount is higher, apply for violations of the articles governing the basic principles for processing, the conditions for consent, the data subject's rights, and transfer of data to an international organization or a recipient in a third country. HIPAA. The Health Insurance Portability and Accountability Act, HIPAA, of 1996 2159 requires HIPAA-covered entities to safeguard the protected health information, FI, of patients, and to strictly control when FI can be divulged, and to whom. Criminal HIPAA violations include theft of patient information for financial gain and wrongful disclosures with intent to cause harm. The tiers of criminal penalties for HIPAA violations: Tier 1 reasonable cause or no knowledge of violation up to 1 year in jail, Tier 2 obtaining FI under false pretenses up to 5 years in jail, Tier 3 obtaining FI for personal gain or with malicious intent up to 10 years in jail. Reputational impacts are related to perceptions of the company as a whole but leaning toward internal factors, including management issues and brand value and stakeholders' perceptions of products, services, and processes owned, licensed or provided by an organization. In practice, brand value and reputation are often used interchangeably. These impacts result in financial consequences. Following are examples of such reputational impacts. Damaged public perception. Public perception can be negatively affected if an enterprise's management or employees are seen as negligent for allowing the incident to occur. This perception can be compounded if public handling and resolution of the incident and its effects are viewed as incompetent. Damaged customer relationships, particularly in heavily regulated industries with sensitive data, such as healthcare and finance, security of information and systems is crucial to customer comfort. Damaged supplier relationships. Security incidents may cause a supplier whose system is connected to the company to be concerned about damage to its own security and reputation from being associated with the breached company. Reduced business opportunities. Potential customers and suppliers or other partners may balk at aligning with the compromised operations of another company. Recruitment difficulties. Security incidents, especially highly publicized ones with an inadequate or inappropriate organizational response, can make it difficult to attract and retain top employees who may not want their personal brand tarnished. Key staff loss. Employees, especially key employees, who have resigned, been made redundant, or been redistributed within the organization due to a security incident might have knowledge of the company's communication channels and access to contacts. How employees communicate with customers is significant. If 9/215 HIPAA Journal, what are the penalties for HIPAA violations? June 24, 2015, www.hipaajournal.com/what-are-for-HIPAA-violations-7096/240 Certificate of Cloud Auditing Knowledge Study Guide Copyright 2021 Cloud Security Alliance and ISACA. All rights reserved. Chapter 4 Threat Analysis Methodology for Cloud using CCM. Image with the following description, image for page with label 240. The number of resignations or redistributions is substantial. It sends a message to the outside world that all is not right with the organization. Media scrutiny. Members of the media know that fear and disasters draw attention. If there is even a hint of an issue, media outlets will rush to cover the story. If it is a large company with many small customers, then it is David versus Goliath, and the scrutiny intensifies. 4.5 Top Threat Analysis Methodology, Part 2. The second part of the Top Threat Analysis Methodology deals with what happens after the attack details are known. Threat actors, threats, and vulnerabilities have been identified, the technical impacts, confidentiality, integrity, and availability, have been determined, and the business impacts, financial, operational, compliance and reputational, have been assessed. What comes next? Mitigation. 4.5.1 Mitigating controls. According to ISACA 21610, the IIA 21711 and NISA 21812, controls exist to prevent, detect, or correct the effects of incidents. Their common objectives are to ensure that such incidents never occur again, or that the chances of their occurring are reduced and their potential impact minimized, or that if a similar incident should occur, it will be discovered and addressed in a timely way to minimize or at least reduce the damage. If the incident is not prevented, and the system and data are damaged, appropriate controls can help ensure that the system and data are recoverable so that business may continue. Controls are commonly classified as follows. Figure 4.5 Technical controls implemented and executed by the system. Administrative control policies and procedures to guide human behavior. Physical systems or people that limit or monitor access and ensure availability of the system. 10216 ISACA, Glossary, https://www.isaaca.org/resources/glossary 11217 The Institute of Internal Auditors, IIA, Global Technology Audit Guide, GTAG, 1, Information Technology Risk and Controls, 2nd edition. https://na.the.ia.org/standards-guidance/recommended-guidance/practice-guidance/pages/gtag 118 Decker, M. C. Karsberg, Technical Guidelines on Security Measures, NISA, November 2013 Figure 4.5 Summary of Preventive, Detective and Corrective Controls Preventive Detective Corrective Technical Controls Intrusion Prevention System Antivirus Firewalls Patches Configuring IAM Policies Intrusion Detection System Vulnerability Scans Configuring Events Rules Backup and Restore Reboot Systems Configure Incident Rules Administrative Controls Security Awareness Training Segregation of Duties BYOD Policies/Training Patch Management Reviewing Logs Auditing Business Continuity Incident Response Physical Controls Guards Fences Locks Door Alarms Fire Alarms Motion Detection CCTV Renew Access Cards Fire Extinguisher 241 Certificate of Cloud Auditing Knowledge Study Guide Copyright 2021 Cloud Security Alliance and ISACA. All rights reserved. Chapter 4 Threat Analysis Methodology for Cloud Using CCM. Image with the following description, image for page with label 241. Preventive controls in top threat analysis methodology terms. Preventive controls exist to stop a threat from coming into contact with the system or asset. Technical controls, such as MFA, multi-factor authorization, deny connection to the system or data pending authentication. Administrative controls, such as BYOD, bring your own device, user policy training, helps ensure that devices compatible with the system are securely attached. Physical controls, such as guards and badges, prevent unauthorized access to the grounds of a data center. Detective controls identify an incident in progress or uncover one that has already achieved its objective. Technical controls, such as IDSs, intrusion detection systems, monitor a network for malicious activity or policy violations. Any malicious activity or violation is typically reported or collected centrally using a SIEM, Security Information and Event Management, system. Administrative controls, such as reviewing logs, can help uncover suspicious access or activity leading to discovery of an incident. Physical controls, such as motion detection systems and closed-circuit television cameras, can detect the presence of an intruder after entry has occurred. Corrective controls exist to restore the system or process back to its state prior to the incident. Technical controls, such as backup restore, ensure that a system can be restored to its normal state prior to the incident or as close to it as possible. Administrative controls, such as incident response plans, ensure that personnel know how to coordinate a timely and proper response to incidents that require restoration of systems or data. Physical controls, such as renewing access cards, which includes canceling the old cards, restores users to their positions prior to an incident. Implementation guidance. This section provides guidance concerning the implementation of controls selected to prevent, detect, or correct the effects of an incident, as a result of a top threat methodology deep dive analysis. There are several ways to implement any control. However, configuration, installation and operation must be considered to ensure the control is properly designed and implemented for its application situation. For illustration, consider the following examples using CCM controls EKM04 and IAM07. EKM04 considerations include, Figure 4.6 what strength of control to implement depending on use/risk, whether to use an in-house or outsourced control, what limitations to place on the application of the controls, whether to single-purpose the control. 242 Certificate of Cloud Auditing Knowledge Study Guide Copyright 2021 Cloud Security Alliance and ISACA. All rights reserved. Chapter 4 Threat Analysis Methodology for Cloud Using CCM. Image with the following description, image for page with label 242. IAM07 considerations include, Figure 4.7 where to implement the control and when to use it. Alternative parties to ensure resilience, sharing of access to information and services, who can declare a condition prior to initiating a control, who can initiate controls, who can share control knowledge. 4.5.2 Metrics. Performing a top threat analysis results in identifying controls designed to detect or correct an incident to prevent it from occurring in the future, and then implementing the agreed upon controls. After controls are identified and put in place, it is necessary to develop KPIs, key performance indicators, that are generated as a product of control performance. Control effectiveness measurement is the monitoring and testing of the controls. Figure 4.6 Encryption and Key Management Domain Storage and Access EKM04 Platform and Data Appropriate Encryption, e.g. AES 256, in open/validated formats and standard algorithms shall be required. Keys shall not be stored in the cloud, i.e., at the cloud provider in question, but maintained by the cloud consumer or trusted key management provider. Key management and key usage shall be separated duties. Implementation: ensure that the following is implemented. Encrypt using sufficiently durable encryption strengths, such as AES 256. Use open, validated formats and avoid proprietary encryption formats wherever possible. Proprietary encryption algorithms are unproven and easily broken. Maintain their own keys or use a trusted cryptographic service from a source that currently maintains such a service. When encrypting data in database, do not encrypt primary keys or indexed columns. In general, a single key should be used for only one purpose, example encryption, authentication, key wrapping, random number generation, or digital signatures. Source: Cloud Security Alliance, Cloud Controls Matrix, CCM, Working Group Figure 4.7 Identity and Access Management Domain Third-Party Access IAM07 The identification, assessment, and prioritization of risk posed by business processes requiring third-party access to the organization information systems and data shall be followed by coordinated application of resources to minimize, monitor, and measure likelihood and impact of unauthorized or inappropriate access. Compensating controls derived from the risk analysis shall be implemented prior to provisioning access. Implementation: ensure that the following is implemented. Monitor service continuity with upstream provider in the event of provider failure. Have more than one provider for each service the organization depends on. Provide access to operational redundancy, continuity summaries, and services. Provide a tenant-triggered failover option. Share business continuity and redundancy plans with tenants. Source: Cloud Security Alliance, Cloud Controls Matrix, CCM, Working Group 243 Certificate of Cloud Auditing Knowledge Study Guide Copyright 2021 Cloud Security Alliance and ISACA. All rights reserved. Chapter 4 A Threat Analysis Methodology for Cloud using CCM. Image with the following description. Image for page with label 243.